Good evening, folks, and a very, very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. My name is Tonchi Prusak, and it's an absolute pleasure to be with you. It is episode 14 of our 7th season, our 164th episode in total. And tonight we take a trip down memory lane and talk to Geelong Rangers President Martin BRANDWYK. His club on the weekend celebrated its 70th anniversary. So we'll talk all about that, catch up on all that happened over the weekend. We're also going to be talking to Brad Roberts. Now, Brad is the founder and I guess the coordinator, manager, if you like, of the Park Footballer, which is a program now about 3 or 4 years in running that offers older blokes, middle-aged men, an outlet to play social football, and it tackles one very, very important part of our society today, I guess, and that's mental health. So we'll be talking to him about the Park Footballer. We'll also look at all the local junior girls and junior boys footballers who have been selected for the Victorian State teams at the upcoming emerging Matildas and emerging Socceroos under 15 and under 16 national championships. That plus a lot of news to get through. So we're going to dive straight into it. Here's a short message from our major sponsor, The Gordon, and then straight after that, we're diving into this week's news desk.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At The Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At the Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Welcome to the news desk. This weekend just gone by. We had a lot of games, mixed results as we do every week. But let's start with the Victorian Premier League 2, the men's competition. And North Geelong Warriors travelled to Boroondara Eagles, which is a tough fixture because the week before the Boroondara Eagles had defeated the top side, Eltham Redbacks, thanks to a late George Ellis goal in the 88th minute. The Warriors were able to salvage a point against the Eagles, who were, up until that stage, leading 1-0. Werribee City took on Geelong Soccer Club on Friday night, and despite a goal by Anthony Trajkowski, the Lions unfortunately went down to Werribee City 2-1 in Victorian Premier League Women's competition. Round 13 on the weekend, a massive win for Geelong Galaxy, defeating Monash University 9-0. Monash University on the bottom of the competition standings. New recruit Tamia Grosvenor scored 5 goals on debut for Galaxy. Congratulations to her. What a wonderful start to your new club. Camila Fresneta, Christy Mary, Poppy Gurkovic, and Beth Coppe scored 1 apiece. On to this weekend's fixtures. Round 20 for the Victorian Premier League 2 competition. The North Geelong Warriors, who are on top at the moment, taking on Altona City in 6th position. That game kicking off at 5 p.m. Big game for the Warriors. 3 points is important if they want to maintain that top spot as they eye a quick return to VPL 1 next season. Geelong, who are in 11th position at the moment, take on 9th place Box Hill United at Stead Park on 6 p.m. this Saturday. Important game for the Lions, because if they do defeat Box Hill United, they will overtake them on the competition standings. So close is the situation there in VPL 2. The following day, it'll be round 14 action for Geelong Galaxy in the Victorian Premier League Women's competition. And currently in 8th position, the Galaxy will host 7th placed Ringwood City at Myers Reserve. That game kicking off at 3:30 p.m. And the same sort of situation there is if Galaxy can defeat Ringwood City, they will leapfrog them up the VPLW standings. On to men's state league action. And as you can see, not too many goals were scored except for right down the bottom, Ocean Grove in State 5. But let's start at the top. Yarraville hosted Corio. Tutu Taya scored a goal for Corio, and the visitors were able to walk away with with 1 point and a 1-1 draw. Geelong Rangers, unfortunately, weren't able to cap off, I guess, what was a very festive day. The seniors lost 0-3. But having said that, the juniors, the reserves team, they defeated Mill Park 2-1. And as a result, the development squad, the reserves, they jumped up into top spot in the State League 2 reserves competition. But unfortunately, as we said, the seniors weren't able to grab the points on Saturday, losing to Mill Park 3-0. In State League 3 action, I was at this game, and it was a tight game. Surf Coast will not be happy with the result, only managing a 2-2 draw against lowly Diamond Valley United. Christian Mann scoring to equalise after the Coasters were down 1-0. And then Ezekiel Hawkins scored an equaliser in the second half to make it 2-2. In State League 4 action, Lara United came up against Melton Phoenix at home and unfortunately went down 1-2. Mutai We Are Blue scoring the only goal for Lara United. In the big Geelong derby at Grovedale Reserve, Christian Davis scored after the first minute to make it 1-0 to Bowen, and that's how the game panned out. And in the end, Bowen defeated Deakin Ducks 1-0. An important win for Bowen to get away from the foot of the competition standings. Bell Park, unfortunately, their game against Melbourne City at Edwards Reserve in Spotswood was postponed because of the state of the pitch, and that will be played at a later time. And last but certainly not least, in State League 5 action, Ocean Grove defeated Wyndham FC 4-3 in a high-scoring affair. Matthew Bell scoring 2 goals, Ollie Honeyford 1, and Patrick Scusa also scoring a goal. Let's look at the fixtures for round 13 action. This Saturday, Corio hosts bottom side Brimbank Stallions, and my, oh my, how the mighty have fallen. A couple of years ago, or even last year, Brimbank Stallions were definitely a team fighting for promotion into VPL 2. But at the moment, they are at the foot of the ladder. But a difficult side, a tough side. And this, by no means, will be an easy game for the Eagles. Corio hosts the Stallions at Hume Reserve at 3 p.m. In the bottom, Battle of the Cellar Dwellers in State League 2, Geelong Rangers, currently at the foot of the competition standings, takes on second last place Dallas City at Laura Douglas Reserve this Saturday. A win is imperative for the Rangers, and a win will also get them off the bottom and over Dallas City. In State League 3, another game against the bottom side, Surf Coast, who are in second position at the moment, and there's still a 4-point buffer between them and the third place team. They travel to Ballarat to take on Sebastopol Vikings, who are at the foot of the competition standings. That game at St George's Reserve kicks off at 3 p.m. State League 4 action. Well, we've got Bell Park hosting bottom side West Point. A lot of Geelong teams coming up against bottom sides this weekend. That game, interestingly enough, is at the earlier time of 3 p.m. at the Bell Park Sports Club. Barnstoneworth United will host Deakin Ducks at JT Grey Reserve, also at 3 p.m. Big, important game for the Ducks. They need a win here. Form of late hasn't been the best. They come up against sixth-placed Barnstoneworth United. Lara United, they'll have a tough one against the top side, West Side Strikers, but it's a game that they can certainly do their fellow Geelong side Bell Park a huge favour if they can knock some points off West Side Strikers at Lara Recreation Reserve. Then certainly Bell Park will be in a commanding position to take over top spot. Now remember, in State League 4 this year, there's only the top team gets promoted. The second team will not go into a promotion playoff because of the restructure that's taking place at the end of the season for competition State League 4 and State League 5. Barwon Soccer Club, after a long time, will actually come up against a team that is below it on the competition standings. And 9th place Barwon hosts 11th place Melbourne City at Grovedale Reserve at 5:15 p.m. on Saturday evening. And Ocean Grove come up against the 7th placed Gisborne, so third at the moment, and they've got a really good chance of jumping into second spot and hence getting promotion to State League 4. That game at Shell Reserve is at 3 p.m. Turning our attention now to the Women's State League competition, and North Geelong travelled to top side Ballarat City last Saturday evening, and at the Ballarat Regional Soccer Facility, it was the Warriors that went down to the top team 3-2. Namiki Yamamoto scoring for the Warriors, as did Maeve McKenna, but it wasn't enough to see the Warriors take the 3 points against the top team. This week, the Warriors come up against second place Clifton Hill, another tough game, and the Warriors, after that loss to Ballarat City, have slipped to 5th position, and this game against the second place Clifton Hill round 10 clash this Sunday will take place at Quarries Park with a kickoff of 3 p.m. That brings us to the end of the news desk, folks. We're going to take a short break, and after this, we're going to look at the 14 players, the junior players from the Geelong region, that have received a call-up for the Victorian State squads taking part at the upcoming Emerging Matildas and Emerging Socceroos National Championships. Don't go away. It is the Geelong Region Soccer Show you are watching. Just Turfing Instant Turf is a local, family-owned and operated company which guarantees top-quality products and service. Whether you need turf for a small front garden or a large landscaping project, Just Turfing Instant Turf are the turf installer experts you can trust. They supply and install for most major landscapers in Melbourne and Geelong, with a wide range of premium instant turf and a full suite of turf care products. Chloe and the team at Just Turfing are sure to have all your turf needs covered. Their Melbourne, Geelong and Victorian regional distribution means they can supply your area with fresh cut turf installed the same day, hassle-free. Turf options that are available include Eureka Kikuyu, Santa Ana, Tiff Tuff, Sir Walter Buffalo and Sir Grange. For more information, contact either Chloe on 0431 571 558 or Josh on 0457 174 111. Last week, Football Victoria announced this year's state squads for the Victorian teams that will be taking part at the Emerging Matildas Championships and the Emerging Socceroos Championships, once upon a time known as the National Youth Championships or National Junior Championships. They're renamed this year and known as the Emerging Matildas for the girls, of course, and Emerging Socceroos for the boys. Well, a total of 14 locals have been picked in this squad, 9 boys and 5 girls, which is quite an incredible achievement, quite an incredible result. And let's go through some of those teams, and we'll start off with the girls team. So the Victorian under-15 blue team, Michaela Witt, has been, who is playing for Calder, but she also had a stint at Geelong Galaxy, so she's made the under-15 Victorian blue team. And 2 current Galaxy girls, Ava Musavi and Hannah Walsh, have made the under-15 white team. Over to the under-16 Victorian blue team. There's no Geelong girls there, but in the under-16 Victorian whites team, we've got the twin sisters, Lucy and Anastasia Shimich, who are both currently playing at Melbourne Victory, both of them starting their junior football at the North Geelong Warriors. Under 15 Victorian white team sees Richie Mann from Melbourne Victory, who had stints at both North Geelong and Geelong and started his football at Barwon. And then we've got Nicholas Skorjanic, who's currently at the North Geelong Warriors, and he's made it into the under 16 Victorian blue team. So congratulations to Nicholas, who is the only Geelong-based footballer, I guess, junior, who made it to the Victorian teams. All the other players, as far as the boys, that is, all the others are currently playing with Melbourne teams. The under-15 Victorian blue team, Nate Bradley, who's at Essendon Royals at the moment. He started off his junior career playing at Geelong Rangers. And in the under-15 Victorian silver team, we've got Jobe Davies, who played at Geelong, also at North Geelong, who's now at Melbourne Victory. And Nathan Niahos, who it says they're North Geelong Warriors, but he did have a stint with the Warriors earlier this year after coming from Melbourne, and he's now gone back to Melbourne where he's playing with Green Gully. So we'll claim him as one of our own, even though he only had a very, very short stint at the North Geelong Warriors. And then finally over to the final page, the under-16 Victorian silver team, Evan Horvath, who son of famous Socceroo legend and former captain Steve Horvath. He's at Western United at the moment, and he began his junior career at North Geelong Warriors, as did Nicholas Didlitzer, another son of a famous footballer, son of Joey Didlitzer. He also started his career at North Geelong, and he's currently at Melbourne Victory, where his older brother, Luca, is knocking on the door of the NPL senior team as well. Tyson Couchy, who had a stint at Geelong Soccer Club, and also was at Western United, who is now at Port Melbourne. And he's playing in the under-23 team, a 16-year-old doing in the under-23. So well done to Tyson. Incredible stuff there. And we've got Luca Primerano as well, who's also who is at Western United, and he's made it through to the under-16 Victorian White team. So as we can see, a total of 14 footballers, junior footballers, who will be playing in the national championships, the emerging Matildas and the emerging Socceroos, in months to come. Fantastic result, and it really does illustrate the depth of talent of the depth of junior talent here in Geelong. We just now need to work on taking that talent, that potential talent, to the next level and transforming it into the senior arena. Folks, we're going to be back after this very, very short break with our first guest for tonight's show. He's the president of the Geelong Rangers Football Club, who celebrated their 70th birthday on the weekend. We're talking about Martin BRANDWYK. He'll be joining us after this short break.
The world is yours. So work hard, and you can have whatever it is you want.
Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. And over the weekend, there was a very auspicious occasion, a huge occasion, as far as one of our oldest clubs, in fact, the oldest football club here in Geelong, celebrating its 70th anniversary. And of course, we're talking about the club from the hill, Geelong Rangers Football Club, who celebrated their 70th anniversary in style, I might add, at the absolutely magnificent Batesford Hotel. And to tell us all about the evening and the weekend just gone by, we're joined by the Rangers president, Martin BRANDWYK. Martin, thank you for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. No problem at all.
Yeah, no hangovers, no nothing from the weekend celebrations?
No, not for me. I'm too old for that.
Yeah. Now,
I'm sure there was, but yes.
Yeah. Anytime a club turns 70 is an incredible story, but Geelong Rangers is a club steeped in tradition, history, and some fantastic achievements both on and off the park over the years. But mate, first of all, congratulations on behalf of the Geelong football community to the Rangers. How was the festivities on the weekend? I guess we'll talk about the on-field festivities. Was a bit mixed at Myers Reserve on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, our reserves did a phenomenal job and achieved the result. I mean, look, the seniors absolutely worked hard. Didn't go our way, but it's not to say that they didn't put in the effort and certainly gave it a good go.
Yeah, and with that win, the Geelong Rangers reserves jump up to top spot, which is a fantastic achievement. And you actually call the that reserves team the development squad, which is quite interesting because it's developing a lot of fine young players, isn't it?
Yep, and that's the intent, and it has been for a number of years to really try and bring players through and develop them up for seniors, and even developing juniors into that development squad. Hence the name, definitely.
Yeah, and the seniors not doing as well as the reserves. They're currently at the moment on the foot of the ladder. But this week, big important game against second last place Dallas City. So good luck with regards to that. But
thank you.
Let's turn our attention to off-field matters. And last Saturday night, as we said in the intro, a big celebration at the Batesford Hotel, which I might add is a fantastic place. But let's go talk about some of the festivities on the evening.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and then we've got two legends of the club. John Barr, who was one of the co-founders of the original Geelong Scottish, way back, in 1950, whenever
1955.
Unreal. And we'll talk about John first of all, here, there on the left-hand side, receiving a special medal. Incredible man, and still looking very, very fighting fit, isn't he? He'd be well into his, 70s, 80s?
Oh, I'd say he would be, but yeah, he's definitely looking really well. And, he still comes along to watch senior games when they're at home, which is actually fantastic. So, but yeah, look, certainly a legend of the club, and hence the award on Saturday night. He was the inaugural, I guess, receiver of that new award that Geelong Rangers put forward, which was the Club Legend Award.
Yeah.
And really given to those, it will be kept for those people who really, I guess, put in and have put in over the years and continue to put in every way. And certainly John,
Yeah,
he is a legend, and certainly he put in as, president, coach, player, volunteer. As I said, he still attends games today, which is phenomenal.
Yeah. So it started off as Geelong Scottish, then became Hamlin Rangers, and now he's known as Geelong Rangers, and it's had a long and an illustrious history, that's for sure. Was he the only recipient of the inaugural Legends Award, or is that going to be bestowed every year at the presentation night hereafter?
Yeah, the plan is that we will consider that on a yearly basis now moving forward. As I said, this was the inaugural sort of year, and then we'll look at it every year and determine, I guess, who rightfully fits that award. Absolutely.
Now, speaking of awards being named after, on the right-hand side there, for those people, I guess, able to remember Scotty Davison, the dynamic midfielder who absolutely was a delight to watch, and he's also got an award named after him, the Men's Seniors Best and Fairest Award.
Correct. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we decided that he is the club's, I guess, highest winner of the seniors best and fairest. I believe he won it 7 times in his time playing, and I think he absolutely deserves that medal to be named after him. So from this point forward, it becomes, I guess, the Scott Davison medal.
Yep.
And every seniors best and fairest each year will be added to that. So yeah, I think it's a fantastic honour for a fantastic player and person at Geelong Rangers.
Yeah. Now, tell us a little bit more about the night itself. It was an opportunity for a lot of past legends and current players to come together and just take us through the whole evening and the atmosphere, and the mood overall at the 70th anniversary gala.
Yeah, sure. Look, it was a great night. As I think we said, we had over 150 people in attendance. Both current members, past members, and so forth. So, look, it was a night of, I guess, looking back at the history of the club, for people to catch up, for people who haven't seen each other for many, many years to see each other again and join in that sort of celebration, who have been part of the club over the years. And, we see some of these photos with some older members. But look, it was we had the formalities of the night, and, we talked a bit about the history and, had some Q&A sessions with previous players. But then we also looked at, I guess, the future and talked about, where to from here as a club. And certainly, everyone wants to see these clubs around for another 70 years.
Yeah. And
people celebrating the same situation. So, look, great night, well organised, great food, great atmosphere. Great music. So, yeah, look, it was just an enjoyable night for everyone in attendance, and I think everyone did enjoy it, absolutely.
Yeah. And nights like these always, as you said, always start the ball rolling, particularly amongst some of the older members of where to now with the club. There's obviously 70 years of history crammed into a club like Geelong Rangers is fantastic. But then there's always talk, where do we go from here? And there's always people happy with the current sort of setup, and then there's other people more happy with the ambitious. And look, the football in, I guess, the landscape is constantly changing. It's really dynamic here in Geelong.
Yes.
Where do you see the club sort of travelling over the next decade or so? So a little bit more long term, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. Look, I think definitely, like I said, the landscape of football has changed. Certainly, with female football absolutely growing over the last sort of 10 years and so forth has certainly changed clubs and the dynamic of clubs. But look, I think certainly. I mean, we in our seniors, we want to see them grow. We want to see women's senior football grow as well as our men's. As we said, we call our reserves squad today a development squad. So we want to more formally set up those development pathways from juniors to development to seniors.
Mhm.
There's a lot of work to do there, and we definitely want to focus on that, and really just grow our juniors as well. Boys and girls, and make, I guess, Rangers a club that people want to come to in the region and say and see as the club of choice. So, look, lots of work to do for the committee moving forward, the club, but certainly the ambitions are there.
Yeah. Now, we've talked a lot in the past with yourself or with Tim Santalucia, previous president, about the master plan up there at Myers Reserve. And for those that aren't in the know, we talk about the football landscape changing, but certainly Geelong, especially the northern suburbs, are set to undergo a radical transformation. As far as, I'm not too sure what the numbers are, you'd probably know better, how many new dwellings are expected to be built from Ballarat Road all the way down to Bacchus Marsh Road and that entire area. So Rangers is kind of right in the midst of a future growth area that's going to make Armstrong Creek look small. How are plans afoot with regards to the Myers Reserve master plan?
Look, certainly the new master plan was put in place now a couple of years ago, and it certainly calls out, for not just upgrading facilities, but also expansion of facilities. And like you said, it taps into that residential growth in those plans, and certainly, beyond the boundaries of Myers Reserve is actually intended for a lot of residential growth. So, look, I guess for us as and I guess for us as a club, it's about, how can we get more space? We always need more space, more pitches. How can we upgrade facilities that are 60 plus years old? So the master plan calls those things out, and certainly for us, we've got a number of priorities that we've identified in that, and now it's a matter of, I guess, working with the authorities to understand how we can actually make that happen.
And it's a headache. It's a nice headache to have the growth, but also a logistical nightmare in many ways when the club is growing. And two of the things that obviously you need as players grow, the number of registrations grow, you need coaches and you need volunteers. How are Rangers on both of those accounts at the moment?
Look, we do reasonably well, to be honest with you. I mean, coaches, we try and, I guess, look within our own sort of families, our own ranks, and who's willing to step up. We're not necessarily got always qualified coaches, but we sometimes get new coaches. Then we work out how we can support them and help them. So, and volunteers, we've got many families, numbers are quite large. So again, we look at different ways, and look, like every club, we could always do more, but I think in general, we do quite well. So,
Excellent, mate. It's an iconic club, and everyone who does go up there always loves to visit the club because of the people, I think, and that's what makes every club fantastic. And I know, for one, when I go up there, I always feel welcomed, and I feel it's a pleasurable place to be at. So once again, Martin, to everyone at Geelong Rangers, a very, very happy 70th birthday.
Thank you.
And to also one of your well-known volunteers, Lynn Toll, I think she also celebrated her 70th birthday, if I'm not mistaken.
Her 80th birthday a week or so ago. Yes, the legend Lynn Toll.
And she's still, and I think we've got a photo of Lynn somewhere there. Yeah, there she is.
There you go.
Yeah, flanked by several other ladies there from Rangers. And she's still heavily involved at the age of 80, and that's the type of people that we say just make a club fantastic. So congratulations 100%. To you all.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Not a problem. Martin BRANDWYK, the president of the Geelong Rangers Soccer Club, and I'm sure everyone will be very, very happy to say very happy 70th birthday to Geelong Rangers. It's a great achievement. Folks, we're going to take a short break, and when we return, we'll be speaking to a man who lives around the Bellpost Hill area, and his brainchild operates out of the Leisure Time Sports Precinct. And we're talking about a program that offers older men, a lot more than just football. It offers them a mental health outlet as well. And we talk about Park Football, and we'll be speaking to Brad Roberts straight after this break. Don't go away. And welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We've really tackled some really good issues in recent weeks, and this next one is a very good one indeed, and sometimes a little bit neglected. And we talk about men's health, not just in football and in sport, but in just generally. And our next guest will talk about a particular program called the Park Footballer. And it's tackling that very issue. It's my very big pleasure to welcome Brad Roberts to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Brad, good evening, and how are you?
Well, thanks, Tomchi. Thanks very much for having me, and really appreciate you getting me on to talk about this initiative.
Yeah, and speaking of the initiative, let's talk about that. This is a grab from your website, theparkfootballer.com.au. A men's health and wellbeing program based around social football. Now, if you like to play for fun and not take it super serious, then the Park Footballer is for you. This sounds like my cup of tea. Tell us a bit more about the Park Footballer, Brad.
Look, thanks, mate. Look, it really come about, I guess, coming out the back of COVID. As you know, in and out of lockdowns throughout that whole period of time. And really, I was probably looking for something myself, wanting that outlet to come together with other people and just play something very, very social. So that was, I guess, partly where the need of it come from. I guess the other part of it too, though, was just years of, as you know, previous lives. We've crossed paths with Futsal Geelong and council venues there as well. So I used to see a lot of people come through that were keen to play social football, but weren't able to commit on a regular basis. But in more instances, didn't know enough people to actually form teams with as well. So that's really where the idea come from. But purely, I guess, as a selfish point of view, it come about purely because I wanted to play social football with other people. So
Now we'll talk a little bit about your past and my past and how we crossed paths. And a lot of people may well know you through Futsal Geelong back in the old days. And you also used to be the venue manager at the Leisure Time Sports Precinct. So I guess that's where you came into contact a lot with the local football community, and I mean the soccer community.
yeah, correct.
Now, you come from an AFL background, but you've seen the light. You've turned to the round ball, so to speak. Tell us a little bit about your own experiences and how you came about to really fall in love with the round ball and hence now run a program called the Park Footballer.
Yeah, great. Look, I guess this initial idea, originally I was sort of getting drawn a little bit back to wanting to play a social version of the AFL. But just looking at, I guess, what I'd seen through my time managing sports venues and also the futsal programs and competitions, trying to find, I guess, a social way to play AFL can be very, very tricky, purely off the back of the contact and the nature of the tackling in the game. Social football, it's something you can play at all year levels, from 18-month-old kids. Really, as we've seen, walking football on that happen over time throughout the venues there as well. So we've got 18-year-old kids that are coming to play Park Footballer. We've got blokes in their 50s, and I think even we've had someone in their 60s come along to play as well. So really, through the round ball game, it is that game that you can play throughout all the stages of your life and everything as well. So
yeah, now it had an interesting evolution because initially while you were venue manager at Leisure Time, and we were involved in this together. It first of all became a weight loss program, man versus fat soccer. Now this is an interesting concept that originated in England. Of course, everything that is to do with football originates in England, but that was quite an interesting program. And tell us how that kind of slowly evolved into the Park Footballer.
yeah, I guess the Man vs Fat program, as you said, it was really focused on a weight loss program for men. I think that was through to 2021 or late 2020 into 2021 as well. So probably the nature of the Man vs Fat program probably didn't quite capture the full grasp of what I think we identified as we were involved with that Man vs Fat program too. So I think that was through the University of Western Australia. We're running that pilot program throughout Victoria at the time and probably didn't quite hit the mark. I think the big thing I found through that Man vs Fat program too was just the mental health and well-being, benefits that blokes were having. Yes, the weight loss was the focus of that program, but ultimately it was the connections that people were making and how good they were all stating they all felt after actually having that run around. It was something they look forward to week in, week out, because a lot of them, through work, through family, often blokes were putting themselves last, and blokes don't talk about their mental health at the best of times. So to just open the door and encourage others to talk about how they are feeling, anything they're struggling about, that's probably been the flow on from just all of us coming together to chase the ball around. Some of the other side conversations I've then been able to have with some of the blokes playing is it's unbelievable. Just thinking something so small, joining to kick around a ball on a Monday night, can just open up that conversation for some blokes, and sometimes that's what they need, is just someone to take the time and listen. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it really brought together a lot of people, blokes from different walks of life, I guess. There were some young blokes, older blokes, blokes that were into football, and there were blokes who weren't into football, but they all came together with a kind of a common goal, and that was that brotherhood to sort of connect through the sport. And I guess then COVID, was something, we would talk about it, the horror times of COVID, but there were some great things. And one of the good things was that the funding got pulled with the University of WA, and hence the man versus fat soccer ceased to exist. But that opened up a void where you stepped in with the Park Football. And this was a program, this is I guess a concept that you had for quite a while, and it just sort of seemed to hit at the right time, didn't it?
Correct, yeah. I think originally I'd sort of scribbled down the idea for this sort of, not that it had the name Park Footballer, but I'd sort of scribbled down the concept or the idea, looking back through old notes. 2017 is where the first sort of idea of this sort of program, or the need for something like this to exist. It did take some time, but I guess, not much great come from COVID, but this is the sort of thing that really provided that opportunity, and I think more than ever defined the need for something like this to exist. And I just, as before coming on for this chat, Tonchi, I just quickly went back and had a look. So November 2021, we started the Park Footballer with 10 blokes. Since that day, we've had 318 blokes come through and have a kick around at one point or another. So that's pretty staggering. A lot come in, week out. But yes, seeing 318 blokes come through and have a social kick around is pretty staggering. So,
and what's happened with a lot of those blokes? Have they continued on because you run 3 sessions a week? Is that right? And a lot of them are sold out, or have they moved on to actually playing? Organised clubs?
That's probably been the great thing from it too. As much as I'd love them to continue to come through and play Park Footballer, I think it's shown the ability for people to connect with others. Many have actually gone to join, found out they've got a connection to an outdoor club. So they're going, well, I'm going to play this season. Why don't you come with me? So suddenly that sort of connections and networks that people are making almost accidentally via coming to play social football is actually having those flow on. So whether it's going to play with the new Geelong futsal down at BVAC there, or whether it's joining local clubs that are playing outdoors this year. I know there's a few blokes that I haven't seen for a while, and when I do run into them, they're like, oh, I've actually met blah, 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 and went out playing, whether it's at Armstrong or Leopold or Corio, they're all over the place.
How good is that?
That's fantastic too, and it's something I get a huge, I guess, reward from too. That thinking if they may not have come to a Park Footballer session, they may not have met that person or gone and joined that team as well. So it also helps people returning from injury, I guess, is the other thing. Some people are just looking to build up a bit of a fitness base, get that sort of confidence back in a knee or an ankle injury that they may have had. And they're now wandering off to go back and play more competitive football than what we offer too. I guess we're very clear on when we play, we probably go at about 30% of what you would in a regular competition too. So we're very open. Anyone that's looking for a serious game of football, Park Football is probably not for them, honestly. So,
and we'll bring that slide up because it says it beautifully, sums it up beautifully. If you like to play for fun and not take it super serious, then the Park Football is for you, and it's definitely based around social football. Now, one of the big things that you've talked about this program is the mental health. We touched on it earlier today, and How do you go about like handling, addressing it? Is it just something that just kind of evolves naturally? You know, like people come along, have a kick, they might have a bit of a chat afterwards and this and that. Or do you actually have, provide literature or actual guest speakers or anything like that? Or, and if not, is that something that you're kind of looking at down the track? Or with blokes, it's kind of more of a subtle thing, a subtle way of getting that message across.
Yeah, look, probably at the moment it's almost been a little bit of that informal side of it, to tell you the truth, and I'm open to, look, I guess most blokes, we've all had a bit of our own little mental health battles over time too, but that's, I guess, something that I can lean into some people too, and just sort of ask them, are you actually okay? Like, is there something going on, or a bit flat too? Just something to open up that conversation with people too, and let them know that you're there to listen and try and help as much as possible. But more often than not, it's just letting people know that they're being heard. It is something that I'd like to, I think, moving forward, to have some guest speakers come and talk about that and share some other information too. But really, it's just trying to encourage people to talk and not bottle that up and leave it
Yep.
in. Blokes historically are pretty horrible at that, of not opening up their feelings and how they're actually going to. So just trying to let them know that it is okay to speak or go and seek help, because, yeah, we don't need to lose any more blokes in our community, that's for sure.
Oh, 100%. There's been too many of that, and some well publicised ones as well over the
Absolutely.
last year or so. Yeah. Now, we talked about the growth of the Park Footballer. Initially, I think it was like 1 or 2 sessions a week, then it grew to 3 sessions a week. Tell us a little bit more about the actual sessions, the venue where it's held, and how people can find out a little more information.
Yeah, great. So at the moment, we're actually probably only running 1 session a week, purely trying to find pitch availability and getting fields of play that aren't either waterlogged or damaged too. So that can be a bit of a challenge. At the moment, and it's probably from my background too, so I'm generally hiring out the Leisure Time Sports Precinct synthetic pitch there. I'd probably say it's the best surface in Geelong, but it's actually perfect for what we do too, when you're running small-sided games in a series of sometimes games at the same time. So we might have 3 games operating at the same time. To have the fence around it too, just to hold all the balls in place and keep the games going continuously as possible. So that will probably start to ramp up and look at a few different days and times come sort of September, once the weather starts warming up. Normally a couple of different nights a week, but then also weekend sessions too. But I'm happy to try and talk to others about this model and looking at how they can go and actually run these sessions themselves as well. So I don't sort of want to be the one that controls this, or everyone has to come through me or the Park Footballer for this. If many guys that have come through and played Park Football or have moved interstate, have moved to Brisbane, Perth, Adelaide, have moved all over the place, and I get messages often saying, is there something like the Park Footballer in Adelaide or Sydney or Brisbane, because I'm about to move there and I'd love to have this same sort of social come and go from football as possible. So if that exists, please reach out, and I'm happy to share that with my people across the board too, because they're all looking out for this type of thing when they move to other areas as well.
That's absolutely brilliant, and we'll pop up the website there if you'd like more information. The parkfootballer.com.au, and people book. Is that right? Is that how the blokes do it?
Yeah, it is. So you just basically, if it says there's availability, just jump on and book your spot. I think it's $11 per session, so very affordable. Again, purely just trying to cover costs with venue hire and equipment purchases and stuff like that. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If it says there's a spot available, to book yourself in, away you go and come for a game. Each week we then just mix up the teams as well. So you don't need to have a team of people. One week you might be on the pink team, the blue team, the green team, or the white team. So someone you play against one week will more than likely be a teammate in the following weeks as well. So
brilliant. Now, we've got some photos there of earlier this year when the weather was a lot nicer, and you did something different where you actually got a team together and took part in the Masters Summer Games. And there we go. The goalkeeper, we can't obscure his face with the logo. What a great idea. And you also had your own kits, I guess, loosely based on the Geelong Football Club or the Queen's Park Rangers, however you like, and great little kits there as well. And is that something that was just a one-off, or you're looking at maybe doing that a little bit more often in the Masters Summer League next season?
Look, at the moment, it was just a one-off. Thanks to Darren from the Masters program there as well for reaching out to I guess, provide that opportunity too. But it was, I guess, it's something that I guess when I started Park Football, it wasn't generally something I was looking or even thinking that we'd offer or try and do, purely because there is things like the Masters that exist for that exact purpose of people that want to play a bit more serious, that does exist, and that is an option for them already. So it was actually really nice after 3.5 years of a lot of those blokes playing socially to almost come together and all put on the same shirt and almost play a full pitch game as well. It was a little bit different.
Like
but everyone really loved it, and I'm hopeful that a lot of them blokes too are looking to make connections with a lot of them other Masters teams. Or if they want to come together and sort of form their own team, I'd happily encourage that as well. So
that's brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Yeah. All right, mate. Well, thanks very much, Brad, for jumping on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's great to always explore our game and all the different aspects and elements of it, the forms of it, and the Park Footballer certainly is one thing that covers an area very, very close to our heart. That's for sure. Well, have you been asked about the Park Footballer for women? That's a question that often gets asked, and
it has, mate. It has. So it is something that I definitely want to do as well. I've started to get those inquiries. Often we get partners coming down to watch some of the blokes play, and they're sort of saying, "Well, when's our social session too?" So absolutely. If there's people out there that are interested in the female version of the Park Footballer. It's something that I'd love to help support happen and see happen, whether it's later this year or early next year. It's absolutely something we'd love to do as well. So
there you go, ladies. If there's anyone out there that's really interested in jumping on board and helping Brad with the female side of things, get in touch with that. There's a website again. We'll pop it on the screen, theparkfootballer.com.au. I know there was talk, Marnie from the Masters was talking about running something similar for the Masters Summer League, so that could be the start of something in this space as well. So watch that space. Once again, Brad, thank you so much for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Wish you all the best with the Park Footballer.
Thanks, Tonchi. Very much appreciate it. Thank you.
Good on you. Brad Roberts, the creator, co-founder, or founder, I should say, and the coordinator/manager of the Park Footballer. Folks, we're going to take a short break, and when we return, it'll be time to wind up tonight's episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show, proudly brought to you by our major sponsor, The Gordon.
Your future is in your hands. There is a whole world waiting for you, and your choices determine how you will impact it. At The Gordon, we recognise this. That's why we champion hands-on learning. Get your hands dirty. Grab what's in front of you. Learn by doing. Turn your passion, your ideas, and mould them into your creations. You'll be supported the entire way. You'll grow your skills in small classes, guided by teachers who are industry experts. You'll learn in state-of-the-art facilities or out in a real-world workplace setting. Your hands-on experience will increase your understanding and put you ahead of your university peers. You'll graduate work-ready, and you'll graduate sooner, with a huge range of qualifications to choose from and support services to enable your success. Now is the time to continue your learning journey. At The Gordon, your future is in your hands.
Well, folks, that pretty much brings us to the end of yet another episode of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We hope you enjoyed tonight's show, and thank you to all of our guests, and especially to our major sponsor, The Gordon, and our business advertising sponsors, and our major business advertising sponsors, Curva Coaching Australia and Just Turfing. We will see you again next Monday night, and we look forward to having your company then. Until then, make sure you do get out and about this weekend and catch a game of football, whether it's seniors or juniors or men's or women's. Go out there and enjoy it, because we've gone past the halfway mark of the season. Before you know it, it'll be the off season, and we'll be craving those Saturday afternoons or evenings or even Sunday games, watching football. Community football, nothing beats it. On that note, good night, and thank you once again for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show.